What's up? It's me, TP Maiwashe. This is the SAK podcast. Today, I've got an honorable guest in the studio. I can't even look at him straight because for me, this is just one of those moments that are very big. Watia Rakhadani, who is a pastor, a school teacher, an author of Bugia Udiwa Makurundu Wuzwa. And many other roles that he occupies, including the president of the Bangona Cultural Council. Kobatanganeza Kadasek podcast.
Okay, thank you very much, preachers, for welcoming me here.
Mm-hmm.
And also your audience. I greet them.
How was the journey? How did you travel all the way from Shangola?
No, it was nice, very safe and comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Today we're touching a very important subject. Not only is it important to a vendor, but it's important to people of the southern region, what you call the SADC region, so that they understand who they are as a people. So I wanted, when I first encountered the book, Diba Makurundu Wuzwa, I had information a bit from oral history. The elders used to talk to us about this. The story of Mapungubwe, the story that has many layers. But I want us to start from origins. What is Mapungubwe and where is Mapungubwe and what is it? What is Mapungubwe to us as a people?
Thank you very much for the question. I'm glad you raised that one. Because people have a lot of schools of thought about Mapungubwe. A lot of that because of misinformation. And depending upon who told them about Mapungubwe, you would go to an extent of finding those who wrote about Mapungubwe, but without the necessary knowledge, without consulting the people who are relevant, who know about it. For example, you got one person like Professor Rushai, who went as far as saying Mapungubwe means a place of jackals, because Pungubwe, he thought it was a jackal.
Mm-hmm.
But Mapungubwe has nothing to do with jackals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. To be precise, and perhaps to try and answer your question, Mapungubwe was the capital city of the Bangona Kingdom. From oral and written history, we find that Mapungubwe Kingdom was there for some millions of years. This goes contrary to what the excavators say. They say it was over 1,000 years ago, whatever they say. They'll talk about 1,200 and the like. But the research that was done, and it's written, it says it has been there for millions of years. That means we are talking about a kingdom that was the only kingdom in Southern Africa during its time, which is called the SADC or the SADC region. So it was the capital city of the kingdom. The kingdom had stretched across what we call the SADC region today, because there are traces or evidence. Actually, there is ample evidence. You go to Zambia today, a lot of Bavenda people there, speaking Jivenda, traditional leaders, chiefs are there. You go to Zaire or DR Congo, they are there. You go to Tanzania, you've got evidence. They still have got the dormant volcano area, which is called Chililambombwe, which is a volcano that is deep underneath. You just hear it growling, but it never erupts. So the name there is Chivenda. So across the Southern African Development Community region, that's where Mapungubwe Kingdom had stretched. So as I said, the capital city was Mapungubwe. Then there were district centers which were controlled from Mapungubwe. And at the district centers, there were paramount chiefs. Today they are called principal traditional leaders in the new dispensation, but they were called paramount chiefs. For example, you go to Marunguzi, there was Paramount Chief Matibe of Mbezi Totem. You go to Musiningira, you'd find Mabanga Paswana of Emunyai Totem. You go to Viravira, for example, Mukwebo ne Viravira. You go to Pretoria, Muraba City. Afrikaans noem that Maraba Stad. That is the city of Paramount Chief Muraba of Emunyai Totem. Then there's nothing like Maraba Stad today. You talk about a street or a certain small portion. Muraba City. Before the establishment of the city of Pretoria, that was the domain of Paramount Chief Muraba. So you go to Mugwabana, Mukopane. You go to Zanani. The white men called it Zanini. They could not pronounce Zanani. Mukwebone Zanani was there. Then all over the show, you go to where? Bulugwane. There's nothing like Bulugwane. That is Bulugwane in our language. An area that is very flat. It's called Buru. That's why we got to Buru today. The area is very flat. And then the stones there, the rocks there, are round boulders. Ndingwane, tombo ngachivenda la round lifingwane. It's a rounded boulder. So ndi Buru lina matomba zingwane. Check all the rocks there. Up to Teflo side, the rocks are round in shape. The Bulugwane as Bulugwane. Okay, I'm just giving an example. There was Paramount Chief Kwindaba Subele Machaba there. So you in the area now near what they call now Zambezi. It's not the Zambezi River, it's Dambezi. That's the area of Bambezi.
Wow.
So you have those things. So they were all over the show. So the king was at Mapungubwe. The paramount chiefs were all, you go to Eastern Botswana, the Lefuruzila Mangwatu, the Banyai Ofa Mangwatu, and all over the show. So there were paramount chiefs under Mapungubwe. Now, the paramount, you go to Hamuvumera or Hamronga in Mozambique. Muvumera from Ronga or Ndo, Muronga, Mozambique, Hamuvumera. So they were all over the show. Now, I'm just giving a few examples. Now, you check that one, you say, okay, there were paramount chiefs who were controlled or who paid homage or allegiance to their king at Mapungubwe. Because according to our royal leadership, which is today called traditional, the organogram of our leadership is as follows. High on top, you got the king. In our language, Tobere. Above the king, it's only God. Nobody else. He accounted to nobody but God. Then under him, the paramount chiefs were under the king. Under the paramount chiefs, you find the chiefs who are called senior traditional leaders today.
Who are the sorry, just to interject that baby, who are the paramount chiefs in Ngajivenda?
Mahosi Mahulu.
Mahosi Mahulu.
Yes.
And then under Mahosi Mahulu?
Mahosi. The chiefs, senior traditional leaders today. Under Mahosi, you have got Mahosana. They are calling them headmen today. In our language, Ngajivenda, Mahosana. Not Bamsanda. That's a new concept.
So we didn't have, during ancient times, there was no Wamosanda.
No. The royal palace, it's called Musanda.
The name of the royal palace is what we call Musanda.
So people took the name of the palace and gave it to the owner or the ruler Then they call them Vamsanda or Vane Vamsanda. Just like that. Showing that he's the owner of Msanda or, the person in charge.
Basically, it's the bastardization of the language.
Exactly. But we have got Mahosan, not Vamsanda. That's not from our tradition or culture. No, it came over time. So that is the Mapungubwe kingdom. That was the capital city. Now, what happened there at Mapungubwe? You'll find, Mapungubwe, if you read the South Africa, Weird and Wonderful by Thomas. What's the name? I'll come with it just in a while. It says Mapungubwe was before 600 years before the establishment of the Witwatersrand. Mapungubwe was the Egoli of Southern Africa. Rob Marsh, the writer is Rob Marsh. It's an unpublished document. I have a copy of that one. 600 years before the establishment of where we are, where we call gold is the Gauteng. There's gold
the
here.
Witwatersrand of gold.
Before the establishment of gold here, where we are sitting, Mapungubwe was the Egoli, the golden city of Southern Africa. That is
basically the first city of gold is Mapungubwe,
Exactly.
not Johannesburg.
Johannesburg came 600 years later. After Mapungubwe was the Egoli of Southern Africa.
Does this then debunk the myth that white people founded gold, discovered gold?
One thing for sure I can tell you, our ancestors never needed anybody from outside their area. You go to Vuani, learn about
present day Vuani.
Yes, check the history of the Nevuk land there. They produced iron ore, they produced hand hoes, guns, they made guns before the arrival of any white person in our continent. So
But
to be
all
precise.
these was under Mapungubwe kingdom.
Yes, exactly. They produced hand hoes, guns, iron, and all the other things. They used to do that, not because any white person or anybody taught them. Mapungubwe, we call it the Egoli. What do they do there? They mined gold and other hard metals, and they smelted the hard metal. After the hard metal is smelted, depending on what product they wanted to make, they had to pour it out according to the measure of the product they want to produce. That's where the name Mapungubwe comes from. Because you smelt the metal, maybe gold, for example, then you pour it out. In Chivenda, to pour out is to pungura.
Pungura.
Yeah. You pungura what you have smelted according to the product you want to produce. That's the pouring out of the hard metal. Mabye, it's a rock or a stone. So you are pouring out the stone that is melted. So that's why you pour out pungura, what mabye or libye or ibye. Then that's why Mapungubwe. Before it was Mapungubwe, it had other names. For example, Itola Ngwali. Ngwali's eye. Makwalele. Those were the names before it was known as Mapungubwe, before they did this thing of gold and other metals. Because they produced cotton. In the whole of SADC region, cotton was grown and they used it to make clothes and other products at Mapungubwe before the arrival of any white person, the settlers.
Which begs the question, our traditional fabric, Mwenda, does its origins come from Mapungubwe?
Obviously, yes.
Because there's this contradiction of people not understanding where the fabric comes from. I think all that owes to present day is not produced here, it's not printed here, it's not assembled here. So therefore people think it is a cloth that came with people from the outside when they were trading. So I would like to have an understanding where the traditional print comes from, the Venda traditional print comes from.
Mapungubwe was the center of civilization during his time. Because if Mingwenda, for example, came from any other place, we should be seeing those people wearing that traditional attire. The fact that it's uniquely and strictly for Bavenda, it speaks to our roots.
Origins.
Exactly.
Now, Rakhadani, let's go back. Let's track back a bit before we talk about the civilization that Wangona people build. Who are Wangona?
Okay, thank you. We, the Wangona people, have got 7 evolutionary names which talk to our existence here. First, they are called SAK, autochthonous. In fact, SAK means people who were created and placed there by God Almighty, the Creator. If you check that one, you go to Krugersdorp, this side, Maruping, there.
Maruping, yeah.
Look at the inscriptions on some of the rocks there. They say, all the people of the world, the peoples of the world, the nations, originated in Africa, specifically South Africa. That's where all the human beings of the whole world, umbilical cord lies buried here in South Africa. That is before you talk of continental drift and other factors that either God used them to disperse the people because they could not stay in one place. He did in the counsel of his good wisdom and goodwill disperse the people across the face of the earth. But everybody originated in South Africa. That's why we call that area Maruping. Right? So everybody originated here. So the fact is, now if everybody originated here and they dispersed, it means there are people who never moved and went anywhere. And we are those people. We remained here. We are still here. Now, the second name, we are known as Wangona. Mungona in singular. It's from mu. It's from the own mu ngona mu, the prefix, and then you've got ngo mu ne, the owner. Ngo is the suffix of shango, the land, full teeming with meat animals. Nama, na comes from meat. So the owner of the land teeming with meat. Our ancestors did, before they built houses, they stayed in caves and other places then. And then they did not, before they established or they discovered maize and other things to eat, they ate meat, strictly meat, nothing else. So they were eating meat. And because of the abundance of meat animals, that's why even today, amongst us, the Wangona and the Seba Venda today, we don't just eat the meat of any animal. We select because we had ample animals to choose from. We could not eat just about anything. Yes. So that is Mungona.
That's the second
name. Then the third one is Mubikwa Naive.
Mubikwa Naive.
Eve, as I said earlier, refers to the stone. If you look at it, or let me take you a little bit back. If you look at Mapungubwe, it's a lingua franca. You will understand it's Mapungubwe, Sobye, Topomapye, which Sobye is Maruping as a Topomapye is Matopo Hills, Chirirambombwe. It's in Tanzania. Mapungubwe, Rukungurubye, the first name of the SADC before it became whatever. And Venda was not known. It was Rukungurubye. Ibye, it's the stone. Like we're saying, Zinga he, ihe. Mahikeng. Because Mahikeng, it's Maheni. The area called Mafikeng or Mahikeng today, it belongs to the Maheni Mungona Paramount Chief. Is the area of rocks. Maheni also is refers. What is this? Zingai. The rocks there look like that snake black and
That
shining
shines.
is Mtsingahe. Maiwashe, white stones is there in Venda if you Maiwashe. So Eve, it refers to the stone. So Mubikwana Eve, it means during the times of volcanic eruptions, our ancestors were there. They survived the onslaught because those volcano can kill you. The lava erupting, it kills. Whoever is in its wake won't exist. But they survived. So they are called by Bikwana Eve because they survived the eruption of volcanoes. That is why SAK and Wabikwana Eve, they made some footprints on the rocks that were formed after the eruption of volcanoes. You go to Chikokwane in Jelele, you go to Mulenje is a footprint on the rock there. And other areas. They made a mark because they were there. The rocks were soft warm, they could make a mark. Perhaps they were experimenting, we're not sure, we were not there. But then Wabikwana Eve, the third title or name. Then you have got Ntangi Wakugala. The first
Kalanga.
to
It sounds Kalanga.
What the Bakalanga but Venda and Wangona. The Shona are pure Venda. Okay. So Ntangi Wakugala, the first to live or settle in an area. Then those who found them, they gave them another name. Ngwani wapo. Owani waohenepo. Somebody was found right there. You moved around the SADC, here and there, in the pockets of the land, you'll find some ruins and other evidence that there were people. Some graves, some ruins, and whatever, to show that there were people. Those who migrated here, they know. That's why they called us Bongwani wapo. Lastly, another name, which is number 6, I think, they called us Chidza Chapo, the local graves, the graves that are all over there. And lastly, Muvenda. Where does the title Muvenda come from? Mapungubwe in that area is dry and hot. Over time, there were droughts, very severe. Animals died because of lack of pasture. Some migrated. Our ancestors starved because there was no more food. They had to discover maize, vele, mavele. So after discovering maize like Tongwana, Bandiri, and others, those are our original maize discovered by our ancestors.
Are they the ones that makes chogam?
Sogam is something else. No, we're talking about that which they satisfied, quench their or appease their hunger with. So maize. So they said, now we have discovered the maize that conquers hunger. Vele laupodza ndaro. Hambudiba venda lichitoma. That is the last born of the 7 evolutionary names
Of Bangon.
of Bangon. Those, okay, if you want to identify us, that's first. Secondly, you can identify us by our surnames, mainly, which start with the prefix ne, ne. Vira vira of ne vira vira. Mukwevo. Tengwe of ne tengwe. Kuvi of chief ne kuvi. Chirubi, which is now called Toyendo. That's not Tendo, it's Chirubi. Ane Chirubi. Mudawachi. Okay, so ne. Majority of our surnames, the traditional leaders, start with the prefix ne, to show the ownership of the land. So that's the second way. The third way is through our mitupo totems.
How many totems do Wagona people have? 19,
my dear.
19.
Okay, for example, you got Ndo. Everybody who's got the Ndo totem. Don't tell me somebody's called Cho or Njov. That is Ndo, full stop. If you want, I will tell you why. All right. Ndo. Mudao. Whether called the Tao or Taung. But Taung, they will tell you the origin, they are Ngona by origin. That is you check in this document, when and what. I can't remember the page. He says, but Tao confess that they are originally the Bangona.
For Mapungubwe.
Exactly. So ndo mudao kwinda ne then Mbezi, where Bapeli comes from now, because these people Rakhadla Makau from Botswana land, now called Botswana. They moved this side, they passed over Pretoria, they went down, and they found Bambezi at Haskukuni area. Bambezi ba Nelumbelu. It's not Lipele, it's Lumbelule of Mbezi Nelumbelule. They found them there, making powers to make rain, powers to produce this metals, and to produce through metals.
Which totem is that? Is the Bambezi, the ones who have power to make rain?
Mbezi refers to a pool of water. You talk of it. That's why they are gods who those who worship traditionally. Everything they do has to do with water. When they perform the rituals, they go to the pools, to the dams. The Bambezi. So Bapeli said, now we call ourselves Bambezi now. But the tongue could not allow them to say Mbezi. They said Pedi. So today they're called Bapeli. Okay, let's move on. Then you've got Mbezi. You've got Mukwebo. Ne? I think there are 5. From Mukwebo, how many did you read?
Mukwebo ndo utano.
Thank you.
Rnando, Rnamudao, Rnakwinda, Rnambezi, akonta Bakwebo.
Then you've got Munya. Then you've got Mutwanamba. You've got Mufamati. You've got Munjelele. How many are they?
9.
Then you've got where is this one?
Morobo.
Yes.
10.
Like Mashamba and the others. Murima, those are Barubu. Then there are 10. Then you've got Murovezi. You've got Muleya. You've got Monarini. You've got Komola. You've got Mutabatsindi. You've got Muronga. You've got Murundwa. You've got Murembetu. And lastly, you've got Munjelele. 19 totems. Is it? So I missed one maybe. But there should be 19. So, whatever. But there are 19 totems. And those are our totems. They identify us. Those are the Bangwana. You get them through their totems, evolutionary names, and their surnames. Those are the Bangwana. You find them, okay, for example, you got among the Tsonga today, you got a lot, maybe over 90% or 80% of Batsonga should be Bangona. For example, you got Baloi.
The Baloi is the branch Baloi name.
The Baloi. Baloi and Matebo. Matebula. Matebula is Matebo. The Banyai. They are Banyai, those ones. They know it. So
the Balois and the Matebulas are Bangona.
Yeah, those are brothers, siblings from one parents, or same parents. So those are Banyai. Then you go to an area they call Bulobedu. There's nothing like that. That's a corrupted name of Bulobezi. Ndeshango la Balobezi, not Balobedu. They're trying to go as far as concocting a name, a language called Kilobedu. That is absolute nonsense. Ndeshango la Balobezi, Bahamuseane, Bahane Maheni, Balobezi, not Bulobedu. There's nothing like that. Ndeshango la Balobezi, Elian. So you got Rupa, Mukhubo, yeah. You've got Manamela, you've got Mujaji. Those are Bakweb. All of them are Bakweb. Your people. Because they come from Rwanda. Exactly. But they call them Ronaridikulov, Zariote, whatever, Oliote, I don't care. But they come from Rwanda. Yeah. That's Ngulubezla. So Manamela, these guys are Bangona. Majority of Wapeli are Bangona. Yes. So in fact, Sadek was under Bangona. That's why I said, some call themselves Bakoni. There's nothing. Some call themselves Nguni. That was the strategy used by the colonizers and the apartheid regime to divide and rule us. I happened to have, in 2007, time at the Freedom Park in Pretoria.
Heritage side.
Exactly. Sitting with I don't know whether he's still there, the old man who was the CEO of Freedom Park when he started, Mongane Wale Sirut. We had a conversation and he said, Mr. Rakhadani, you know what? In Africa, he believed that there were only maybe 4 main languages in the continent.
The whole continent of
not
Africa.
In South Africa. He believed or believes there could have only been 4 main languages. The rest were developed as dialects. And mainly because during mercantilism, these white people moved around the world in search of wealth. And they divided us. They amassed our wealth, taking back to their countries today. They call them the richest countries of the world. Where did they take this? They looted this wealth from Africa. Go to America. Where did they get their wealth? Go to Britain, whatever, Europe. Most of their wealth comes from Africa. That's why even today, I'm sorry to go a little bit political, you can never have a government they don't recognize, because it will turn against them to reclaim our heritage, to reclaim our wealth. All the mines and all this minerals, they belong to Anglo-America, England and America. Is this England?
No, it's not.
And so why? Okay, we got democracy in 1994. Until today, 30-something years down the line, did you ever hear our government saying, okay, now we checked the contracts that was signed between Anglo-America and South Africa. We give them another 50 years to mine here, and then from there we take back our wealth. Did you ever hear anything? You say that tomorrow they will unseat you. There's a coup d'etat. You will never survive. Africa will never have this renaissance and reclaim its position in the world. The whole world owes its origin and its wealth and everything from Africa. Unfortunately, they will keep on suppressing us for as long as they can, because they know the day the African people realize, go to our national TVs across Africa, nothing will be aired on TV unless it's approved in America. The stories, the movies, everything must be American. If we do it here, it must be censored in America. They must have, if you can't air something they don't approve,
it has to fit the narrative.
Because you will educate the nation, and the nation will become wise and realize that they're being fooled and taken for a ride. They will turn against their masters. I'm sorry, that's politics. Let's come back to Mapungubwe.
Now, I'm all for it. It's all politics. The reason that we've lost our identity today is because of politics. Judge?
Nevu land where they were.
Oh, Nevu, yeah?
Nevu, yeah. What's the name?
Oh, Nevu, just say Vu, whatever. Don't worry. Pronounce it the way you want. Okay. Doesn't make any difference.
Yeah, I wanted to check it here.
Nevu.
Or Nevu.
Yeah.
Nevu or W, if you like it. I don't know if you'll find it there, but in Google.
Because the thing with fact-checking this kind of stories is that most of them, they are censored from mass media. Now let's go back to Bangona people and their origins and cradling from surviving the volcanic attacks and everything else. You mentioned the name that's set with me is this one. You will hear people saying, "Hey, ndimuvenda mubikwa naive, ndimuvenda mubikwa naive." And amongst the Venda people, are there vendors today, people who identify as Venda people who are not Babikwa naive?
Exactly. You know, our Venda community or nation today is made up of 7 groups.
Okay.
You've got your Masingo, the Mpepos, the Chivases, and the like, who by origin come from the DRC. Basenzi. They came here as Basenzi.
Mm-hmm.
They call themselves Masingo when they're at Njelele.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Zata.
Mm-hmm.
You got to Barauzi Bako Bamasenga. Kwamasenga. Who are the brothers with Masingo. They both come from the DRC. Barauzi came first down here because of the squabbles there, which they had. You hear of Liwanyika and Dambanyika.
Mm-hmm.
When the chief Mambo died, then Dambanyika refused to ascend the throne because they were fighting with his brother Lewanika. And then he said, okay, I'm abandoning the throne. I'm going down south until I find a place to stay. They call him Dambanyika because he refused Nyika, the land. His younger brother took it. So he became Ruwananyika or Lewanika. This one became Dambanyika.
Mm-hmm.
But his name was Runonye or Runonye before he became Dambanyika. Then he came south. So Barauzi, they come from Jojo in DRC. Then you got the people from Ethiopia, Bandaram. By origin, they come from Ethiopia.
So Bandaramo are related to the Ethiopians?
They come from Ethiopia by origin.
By origins. Mm-hmm.
They are related.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got your Mpapulis,
Mm-hmm.
the Ndebeles. The descendants from Musi, Amatubi. The brothers with Kekana, Mukwaduba, they are sons of Amatubi, those ones.
How did they become royals in Venda?
They came that side, stayed with the Masingo at Zata. And thereafter, when Masingo started to usurp power, they helped them fighting. They were rewarded. So they are from KZN or Natal then. Then those are the Mpapulis, then the Veles. Then number 5, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
You got your Neromondos, a mixture of the Swati and the Vele.
The Neromondos?
Yeah.
How come do they have NE if they are not of Wangona origin?
After they conquered the Nechivales, Ramondo belongs to Nechivale. It's Chivale, not Ramondo actually. But these guys were fighting from the top of the hill.
Who were fighting from the top of the hill? The Neramandos.
The Shirande Mapungubwe descendants called Neramondo Namu today.
Mm-hmm.
So they rolled the stones to fight against their enemies.
Mm-hmm.
So fighting from the mountain, Ura Unta Mondo is a mount.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tava.
Mm-hmm.
Ura Unta Tava.
Mm-hmm.
They called themselves Neramondo because they were fighting from top, destroying their enemies with the rocks that were rolling down as they rolled them to defend themselves. They became victors. That's why they called them Neramondo Namus. From Ura Unta Tava, fighting from the top of a hill or the mountain.
So that land used to be called Chivale.
The Chivale, even today, they know it.
So the Neramondos are like the Mpapuris.
Exactly. And then the 6th group, Varemba, the Black Jews.
Mm-hmm.
And lastly, the 7th group is ourselves, the Aborigines, the autochthonous, original inhabitants. 7 groups compose the Venda nation.
Today.
So, yes. So, these are those, they tell you, we came like this, we came from there. Check their small histories because they talk of something that is less than 300 years old. Mm-hmm. Ours, nobody can tell you where we're going to come from, but they didn't come.
Mm-hmm.
You check Makulukuku of Moshabe Womarole, that little book about a bit of history, but this more about the praise of the Masingo people.
Mm-hmm.
Then he says, Vangonanda Luchakarone, Arodiwela, Musira Wela, where Wadangao, Nichirwana Wapavendans. You can have a trace of Vangona. They came to be where they are today in Venda because they didn't come. They are the Aborigines. This is SAK. That's what he's trying to confess.
What is this? I've heard this word Aborigine many times. The Aborigines I had known originally were the Australian Aborigines. When we were growing up, we heard too much of Australian Aborigines. And then present day, you've got the colored groups who identify as Khoi and San, calling themselves the Aborigines. I want to understand this word, aborigine. What does it mean to be an aborigine?
I wish there was a colored or a Khoisan person here, because before I speak, he was supposed to answer that question. How do they come? They call themselves the Aborigines of this area. Because their history, they'll say we were here 10,000 years ago, 100,000. It doesn't go beyond 100,000 years when they say they were here. Mainly, it's 10,000. 10,000 years ago, we were here.
Mm-hmm.
We have been here for as long as you can remember. Since time immemorial. Since Yo, if you like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yo means this is the land vendor of Yo, where we are sitting.
Mm-hmm.
For me to say now in Joburg I'm going to Venda is because of all this corruption and land grabbing and all that was done. This is part of our, we talk of SAK after all. We talk of the Mapungubwe kingdom. No, you don't tell me about Shaka. Who is Shaka? Of course, they're part of the Wangona. They're called Nguni because we're divided. But they are our brothers and sisters anyway. So, but I'm saying, all this came because of the colonizers. Yes. So, this is our area. This is our land. So, you ask them, where did they stay? Nomads. Moving from one area to another. Did they have traditional leaders? You can't move today and go to Free State. The next thing, in 5-7 months or 12 months time, you find yourself in Eastern Cape. You can't have, they didn't stay in any place. The land was under the king at Mapungubwe. They know it. But you know what happened? Which is very bad. When the white people came here, they found us in possession of our land, running our kingdom very nicely. Because of the wealth of this country, if I may say. Then they decided to dispossess us, to rob us. When they were organized, they passed laws to deprive us of our land. They knew if we agree or allow the black people that we found them here, they are the Aborigines. The day they will revolt against us, we have no basis. But if we say we found the nomads here, the Khoisan people, Hottentots and Bushmen, we found them here, they are the Aborigines. They know these people didn't originate here. They know these people have nothing to claim because they didn't own the land. They were hunters and gatherers. So to promote them at the expense of the Aborigines, it advantages you, the settler, who wants to own the land.
Because I look at the phenotype of the ancient dig-ups, discoveries of Maruping, and the phenotypes, to me, when I look at them, they look like what today we call Bantu people. They look nothing like what we call colored or Khoi or San people or Kwe or Kam people.
They were not there. That's evidence enough. Scientists are doing their job. They are not being political. That's why what they discover, then it's true. It's a real history, not whatever has been politicized.
So, Rakhadani, you're saying we trace Nguni back to Mugoni, back to Wangona.
Exactly. But the kingdom was Wangona's kingdom. So we are one and the same people. That's why I said, Sirute said 4 languages in the whole of the continent originally.
One of them is?
Obviously, Tshivenda. You remember the issue, the report of Balili Gutla, talking about Tshivenda is the original language, going to the extent of saying
it's the root of the Bantu language.
If he had powers, he would influence government to make sure Tshivenda it's one of the 2 official languages. It would be number 3 alongside English. It was supposed to be taught every South African, black or white or Indian or colored. Tshivenda was supposed to be taught because it's the mother or the root of all the black languages in the country. That tells you Tshivenda is the original language. That is why, no wonder, of all the languages of we the black people here, the most difficult language is Tshivenda. And fortunately, and good enough, lucky enough, Vavenda find it easy to speak any other language, easier and faster than all the other natives here. Because our language is the mother language. Everything was a branch or a dialect that came from our language originally.
So all these languages branched out after Mapungubwe. They were branching out and self-determining.
Because they wanted to be promoted to become that.
They wanted their own hierarchies.
Not they. The colonizers, the political masters, the bosses wanted to divide and rule. If you speak Sizulu, I speak Speri, he speaks Uvenda, then you know what happened in the Bible? Genesis chapter number 11, the Tower of Babylon. People had one language. Ne? You read from verse 1, chapter 11 of the book. Now, but they built a tower under the leadership of the black man called Nimrod, because civilization started there. Writing and whatever started there by black people, African people, if you call them African. Although Africa is an imposed name, we are not good. The continent was not Africa before. Let's leave that one for now.
Yes, pack it.
Then education, everything, development, city. The first city was built by Nimrod in world history by black people. You and I, our ancestors. It didn't start with the whites. It was started by blacks. Babylon. But God, realizing these guys wanted to build their tower as far as heaven, he came down, separated and divided their languages, their tongues.
So that they cannot understand
They
each other
started to
anymore.
talk different languages until today. But we spoke one language. But the other languages came after.
So if we're speaking of Bangona people as the Aboriginal people, does that mean then we are saying that Bangona, as we know them today, birthed all these tribes that we see today in the whole southern region?
I want to believe that, but I want to be cautious there. Because if I use authority to say, yes, I need to do further research on that one. But what I know is that they were all under the kingdom. The king was at Mapungubwe, Mungona or Muvenda. That far I know. And that everybody started in South Africa, every nation and race. So that tells us then all these guys owe their origin here, under the kingdom of the Bangona.
Who was the king?
He went, the most common royal title is Chidziwelele. There were other titles. But Chidziwelele, it's the most common. But it started with Sharia Denga. It's one of the most common again.
Let's talk about this Sharia Denga, because in the Masingo royal house, they refer to one of their leaders, of their kings, as Sharia Denga. We're talking about the same person.
I have never heard that one. Referring to who amongst them, because I know them.
I've heard of the Sharia Denga who was in Zimbabwe and came over to South Africa. I think it's Sharia Denga. They speak of, was it before the Mbanyiga? I'm not sure, but they speak of Sharia Denga.
I've never heard that. I have their history. If you find it somewhere, please let me know one day. I will talk about it. But for you, to try and answer what you say, I've never heard. They talk of Mambo, Ntindima, Velelambeo. Those are some of them. Dambanyika. But they would not speak. I've never heard them talking about Sharia, because Shiri means, Shiri is a bird. Denga is the sky, bird of the sky. And it belongs to us. I have never heard them. I have the bulk of their history, the Masingo history, I have it. Even here, it is here. It is also here.
Oh no, they were Makurundu.
Yes, it's here. All the 7 groups history I talk about, that make up the Avenda nation of today. Their history is all here. And all of them agree with this, what I've written here. None of them. In fact, some of them are surprised why I know their history better than themselves. Because here it's more detailed than they know. Yes.
So is Sharia Denga a title or a name?
A title.
Of the
Of the
Mapungubwe
kings
king.
at Mapungubwe, yes.
So we must they were referred to as Shiriadenga, then their names.
Yeah, Shiriadenga, so and so.
Mhm.
Yeah, because it's Shiriadenga. Then the surname has come. Because usually so Chidziwele Power, the current leader of Mangona today.
Mhm.
His title is Chidziwele number 33.
Mhm.
The other Chidziwele is up to 32 before him.
So Chidziwele is also a title.
It is a royal title or a dynastic title.
Mhm,
Because
mhm,
it's a dynasty. We're talking about a dynasty.
mhm.
Yes.
One of the things that seems to hold on,
that's
Judge, come in.
Yeah. The info from Mark Cartwright. I don't know if he's the one you were talking about. The author here is Mark Cartwright, I think. He says the kingdom of Mapungubwe was formed by Bantu speaking peoples who were pastoralists. The area controlled by the rulers of Mapungubwe has at its heart a large sandstone plateau. So I'm not sure if it's because it's not mentioning any king here, the ruler or anything.
But I'm happy, George. I'm happy he's mentioning the king of the Bantus. Unlike some of the writers who said he belonged to the Hottentots, to the Tswanas, because there are people who wrote that rubbish, in trying to distort. Because Mapungubwe is the jewels of Southern Africa. Everybody wants to identify with it. So they don't want, because even our government, the current democratic government, they recognize there was a kingdom of Mapungubwe. They even have got one of the orders that they bestow on some of the very people who have made great achievements, the order of Mapungubwe. But they will never tell you whose kingdom it was. They don't want to say that. Why? They know it belongs to certain people who are now not recognized, they don't want to hear anything about them. So they want to recognize the kingdom, but without the owner. That is why tomorrow I'm going to the United Buildings. We wrote a memorandum, an email. We want to match and demand that Cyril Ramaphosa and his government tell us whose kingdom was there at Mapungubwe. That is one of the things we're going to put on the memorandum, which will hand over. So they're not answering me from June the 6th until today. Not an acknowledgement, not a, what do you call this, automated response, at least to say, we received nothing. They're, Mom, why? They want to suppress us. Their time is up. I'm going there tomorrow. I'll wreak havoc there. Not with the president. Because the president doesn't even know that the email has come there. Those who are sitting on top of our emails, tomorrow they will answer to me. Okay, I'm saying they're suppressing us. I'm happy he wrote Bantu people. Rob Masha referred to, he said black or Bantu people. All the writers say black, 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 black. But whose kingdom specifically, they don't want to say. But people like the late Dr. Amfrinem Zivati, they said it was Mapungubwe, belonged to the Bangona. Even, who is this one? Henish was a lecturer at the University of Venda. He said Mapungubwe belongs to the Bangona. So, but many people don't want to say that because they know Bangona are not, they don't have any.
Do you think there is a confusion between, or there's a parallel of not understanding between Bavenda and Bangona? Because we've got a challenge of people always referring to Bavenda as people who come from the Great Lakes or from the Congo.
Good question, my dear. I'll answer the other one you asked earlier. We didn't touch on that one. Of Muvenda Mubikwa Naive. Now, you know, since the Matsingo clan
from the Congo
took over the reins, majority of them were promoted during the time of Tivet Nile. So if they promoted whoever was loyal to the Boers, you are disloyal, they unseat you and put somebody who's loyal. That's why Barauzi and Wandaram and some of them ended up getting these positions because they were loyal. Yeah. That is why even today, we went to the Ntlapa Commission of Inquiry into Traditional Leadership Disputes and Claims. We won the day in the commission as Wangona. We won the kingship. But because they knew there were the purpose there, one would come from the DRC. We give you the kingship, you give us the wealth. They agreed. They put Mpepo as the king of Bavenda. They thwarted. If you see the results of the Nhlapo Commission to the kingship in Venda, originally it was the Bangona. It was twisted by the late Collins Chavan and Zuma, using the power of the VBS. That's why Zuma and Tony had that friendship of sharing the money from the loot from VBS, because he was given the kingdom, and Zuma's Duduzan and others were wanted to mine in Venda, because that was the arrangement. They gave them Rama planets because you give them the kingdom. They won't claim the farms and all the other places which have got a lot of wealth. But we need our whole land. So they can't give us. They give somebody which doesn't belong. Say, remember, it's like you today. If I promote you today, I'm the president of the country or the minister, appoint you the DG, and you know you're not fit, you don't have the necessary qualifications, but through some means as we do it. Maybe you're a comrade. We put you there. You take instructions from me. You don't go according to your duty sheet. You go about what I tell you. If you don't do that, I take you out. You buy a position of a principal or whatever, a premier. You buy the position. Those who put you there, once you divert from the aims or whatever intentions, they'll tell you, we'll recall you. Then you must toe the line. That's what they did. They can't give us our kingdom because they know if we get the kingdom, we're going to tell you, Bulugwane belongs to us. Pretoria is Muraba City. They know it. So they don't want that. And yet, we didn't mean to, want to take everything. Chikoro Chabadao, Bandwa Chikoro, the Paramount Chief. But they call it Chikoro today. Okay, they know this. So, in order to succeed and maintain the status quo, they give positions to wrong people. Okay, let me first, before George comes in, Muvenda Mbikwana Ive. After the Masingo were promoted by the white people into these positions, then they twisted Mungona Mbikwana Ive, because if they said that, then they would be disqualifying themselves. So they twisted it to say Muvenda. It's not Muvenda. If they were not there during the time of volcanoes. So they know nothing about it, or literally speaking, cooked with a stone. They were not there. So they twisted it because they were in power. Information was censored. Any document you read must be passed through censorship. Either they will allow you to publish and print it, or it will be disqualified. He has got a question.
Because I'm sensing Bangona, Bakoni, Bakwena. Can you?
Yes.
Can
Yes.
You,
Yes. Exactly.
Can you give us connections between all of this?
Bakwena, ne? You've got Bakwena in Northwest. You've got Bakwena in Lesotho. The Mushesha Kingdom. They are Bakwena, those people. Kwena is the crocodile.
Yes.
The Bambesi, they are part of the Mbezi clan. They are part of the Mbezi clan. Muswati, they are part of the Bambezi clan, the Swaziland kingdom. One and the same people, Bambezi. They are all Bambezi people, these guys. And they know it.
Having said that, the distortions, so I'm taking it on the part of the Masingos and the part of everybody who right now is occupying the royal seat in Venda. Distortions are important to keeping them in power.
Exactly. Misrepresentation of facts.
Where to from here as the Bangona Cultural Council? What is it that you want?
We are the Bangona National Cultural Movement. We went to the Kingship Commission in Nhlapo. The courts had their say, and a lot happened there because of money. Justice Ligodi, who presided over the case in Tendo, I got the kingship case, battle, whatever, in court. He was paid 5 million rand to twist the case, read his judgment. He was now talking, I have it, the original one. He spoke like an advocate of the Masingo or the Mpepos. You know what the Mpepos claimed in the commission? Let me tell you something. Maybe you're not aware of it. We went to the Nhlapo Commission. There were 5 contestants. The Bangona, the Rabura, the Mpapulis, the Chivasas, the Mpepos. It was 5 claimants. Fun enough, I was there. I attended all the sessions or the sittings. Because on the last day, I made a summary of the presentation on behalf of our king. He gave me that platform to address the commission. I did personally. On Funtlap. All right. What is a kingdom? Ask Mpepo, he doesn't know. Chivase, he doesn't know. Chivase went there asking for a kingdom only in the tribal authority or area called Chivase today. That's the kingdom he wanted. He didn't want to rule Venda. So the same did Mpapuri. He wanted, and ironically, Mpapuri stays at Mbiri, where Paramount Mbiri of Mnyaitotem ruled from.
The Mpapuri we're talking about is the one who goes by the name Gore.
Now, yeah, but we're talking of Mpapuri as a family.
Okay.
Okay. But look, he wanted the Mpapuri kingdom, not a Venda kingdom.
Okay. But on Venda land.
Where he's ruling now.
Okay.
As a chief or a senior traditional leader. He wanted to become a kingdom. She was to have a kingdom in his area now where he's ruling. And then, who is the other one?
The Raburas?
Rabura wanted the kingdom of Venda. And we, the Wangona, wanted our kingdom, the Mapungubwe, the restoration of what was, not the creation, not the awarding of a kingdom, but the re-establishment. Because it was there, everybody knows it. Ask Mpepo. Mpepo wanted the kingdom of the whole of Venda, okay? But ask him, what do you mean by a kingdom? Okay, before we ask him, let's go to his form. The commission gave us forms to complete, claiming whatever position, where to choose. Which position, headmanship, senior traditional, blah, blah, to king. He said they chose paramount chief in their form. I think I've got a copy of it at home. Because even their submission, I have it at home there, if you don't know. My home is a bit of an archive if you don't know. All right, you can't just talk and write when you don't know these things.
True.
Sometimes you find yourself in trouble because people will ask and challenge you. And the next thing you become angry, it doesn't work. You don't have to be angry. You have to read and get information. All right. They asked for paramount chief. Kosikuru. That's why even today, they say Kosikuru Botoni, Yarusha Kalabavenda. That is nonsense and upset and awkward and rubbish. We don't have that Kosikuru in Venda for the whole nation because they don't know it. They asked for it in the commission. We challenged it in court papers. Lekori said, no, the judge, the presiding officer, Justice Francis Lekori, in his judgment, he said, no, you are arguing that they asked for paramount. No, they wanted to say kingship. I have the judgment. Is that the duty of a judge to justify a claim written by a people who, and you know what? Those guys, when they came to the commission, they had, 5 lawyers there. This Matlangambo is saying, whom the president is now promoting. He was there. He was the advocate. One was, I can't remember his name. He was from Eastern Cape, a trouser. You've got Makabo. There were about 5. You've got Nechimbuve was a chief magistrate, the late Nechimbuve. So there were 5 people who are lawyers seated there in their bench. But Lekori is justifying what those guys wrote. So that's where he had. You can't justify something when they wrote it in the choice and in the statements, whatever, they said we need paramountcy. Paramount chieftainship is under the king. So they could have done, but I'm telling you, they didn't know. Okay, which area of jurisdiction? They never said where they want to rule. They've never produced in their submission who were, because if you are a king, under you there must be paramount chiefs. Under the chief, paramount chiefs, the headman. But Mpepo was a chief. He's a chief even today. But he wanted to be a king of who? Because their kingdom, if they say they had, it's written in Google and wherever you'll find the kingdom of Masingo. Where did they ever have chiefs under them? Did they ever have paramount chiefs under them? You can't be a chief of a headman. Like, okay, now I'm a premier. What is your cabinet? What councillors?
There are no MECs there.
No, if I say I'm a premier, but my cabinet is composed of what councillors? I'm telling you I'm a mayor, not a premier.
True.
In today's dispensation, a premier sits with members of executive council, not with ward councillors.
There must be an MEC.
A premier does not rule wards. He or she rules the province. So if I say, no, I was a premier.
Because as it stands, Chivase does not want to be under Mpepu.
And I don't think it will happen.
Mpapuri does not want to be under Mpepu.
I don't think so.
Vangona are not under Mpepu.
Exactly.
When we find today people obsessing over the battleship of the Mpepu royal family of the seat, are people of Vangona bloodline supposed to have interest in that?
Come again. I think I missed part of your question.
When we are finding ourselves on the battleship of the Mpepu royal family, they're battling and they're in court, they're fighting over who to preside. Who are they presiding over? And should people who are on the Vangona bloodline care about the outcome of that battle that is in court?
Okay, good your question. I told you, they don't know what they want. They were given the position by politicians. The Commission of Untlapo started during the time of Thabo Mbeki. Unfortunately, the results took long until 2010. 2009, Zuma came in. Zuma had a direct personal interest. I heard him uttering the statement, the Untlapo Commission, the chairperson of a commission does not have powers, because according to Traditional Leadership Governance Framework Act of 2003, it says the commission has the power to investigate, check the findings, and appoint or declare who is the king. That's the act before it was amended in 2009 or 2010 by Zuma. Then it gave the commission, the president was there only to authorize or to sign, not to decide. Zuma said, no, the commission has too much powers. It must be the president elected by people who does that. And when the results came in 2010, Zuma interfered and the act was amended. But funny enough, if you know a bit about law, a legislation or a piece of legislation or a law that is passed today, signed by the president of the country to become an act of parliament today, it does not have retrospective effects. It doesn't affect something that happened yesterday and beyond backwards. It starts today when it was enacted going forward. But Zuma used the amended law in 2010 to determine the results of the commission that finished work in 2008. So the law does not have a retrospective effects. Okay, back to your question. Now, the Masingo are fighting in the Polokwane High Court now for what they think is the Bavenda kingship. That is amongst the Masingo. One thing for sure, with the Vangona, and everybody in South Africa and Africa knows the Mapungubwe kingdom belongs to Vangona. So we put our king where it is there. The reason why the land claim of the Nepalese is being delayed there is because they know the day those 167 farms are returned, that is the day the kingdom is back. Because we're going to inaugurate him, not the government, we. We will never pay allegiance to a non-Mungona king, no matter. That's a single kingdom, not our kingdom, not even a Bafenda kingdom. Chivase doesn't recognize it. Mpapuli does not recognize, unless the only condition that I hear maybe the undertones of is that if they are given the paramount positions, they will submit it to Mpepu. Because there will be paramount chiefs. But I don't know where they will get paramount from, because people can't be a king without paramounts. What kind of a kingdom is that? It doesn't exist. It's political. It's
a floating kingdom.
Not traditional, not cultural, not customary. Okay. What we are doing, I'm talking about a march to the Union buildings. What I want to do there, two things. Hand over memorandum, One of the questions the memorandum, Mr. President and your government, please answer us whose kingdom was Mapungubwe and the other demands. After that, we ended the memorandum. What the Khoisan did, we are coming with people. Already we've got a number of people who are going to pitch up tents there, sit there until our kingdom is restored to us. We'll never move. We can change people, some going, others coming, but until they give us our kingdom, we'll stay there. We can't go violent and start fighting. And that will not do. But we are fighting this way. We went to the courts. The courts are captured even today. Everybody's talking about that. In fact, the former
system is a joke.
Chief Justice Mukweng said, when he was Chief Justice, he said the judiciary has been captured. He confessed that. Everybody knows that. It's captured. So that's why the judiciary would take instructions from the executive.
Is this why the Venda kingdom, as it stands today, does not have the dignity that it ought to have? Is it because of the way things are being orchestrated against the rightful owners or heirs to the kingdom?
Exactly. I know why? Because in our tradition and culture, I'm a Christian though, but our ancestors and our people even today, if you are a chief, you must have your sacred groves, zwipo. You can't be a chieftainship or whatever traditional leadership position without your own zwipo. If that is the case, then there's something wrong. Tell us where you got that position from. You got PPD there. You know what the name PPD means, my sister? Pili, Zamati. Okay, let's leave that one. That's a sacred grove, the name PPD. Some of them are called Ramunangi today and others are names. So, all these chiefs that are there, or majority of them, they don't have even zitaba. Mahosana zitaba. Which even the taba ya swime. The taba ya bugosi ha swime. The taba ya musina ya chibungulera. The taba, they've got these groves and mountains called after them. That's a sign of land ownership of the royal leadership. These guys don't have it. Some of them were appointed political, like Muira. Muira was appointed when? 1950 something. By the veteran. So they didn't have this thing. So the point is, these guys don't, and because you were appointed by politicians, they're not practicing customary laws and customs in the traditional leadership even today. Because after all, they're sitting in a land that does belong to them. The owners. That is why, if you check and go and make research, if you like it, in the majority of areas where non-Vangona are chiefs, they put Vangona, those the owners of the land, either as Wakoma or those who go and perform rituals. Because they don't belong there. Because so they are afraid. So they must let the Vangona minister to their spirits and their sacred groves, so that this doesn't cause trouble on them. Because they are afraid of them.
So all the sacred sites are administered by Vangona.
Obviously, because who can go there? You can't. That is why the Masingo, no matter how power hungry they are, you will never hear them claim anything to do with Mapungubwe. They become quiet. They don't go there. They don't talk about Mapungubwe. Never. They can't claim anything there. They want to be kings, but not. Their kingdom has nothing to do with Mapungubwe. It's not related. They can't claim it because that area, you don't just go there. If you just go there, you think you'll succeed. Sometimes you may never come back.
How many sacred sites do we have in Venda that you know of that are significant?
I don't know many, but there are so many. I talked about
Pipidi. Tate.
No.
This Petuvi.
Yeah, Tate is another area, Tlubi, the area for Tlubi. You talk to me. Yeah. That's where she belongs. Not Pipiti. You talk of Kweba Lusidzana. There's a grove that Chitaka Chinowita of Lusidzana. Chivale, what do they call that? I forgot the name. It's all over the show. Yeah. Many places. I've just given a few examples. I can't remember them all, but there are some of them are here in this book now as I speak. Funduzi.
Let's talk about the lake. The lake itself is also a sacred side of the Vangona people. What is the legends and mythology behind Lake Funduzi?
What I have heard and I hear, it belongs to the Vanyai of Chiaba, Nechiaba. Lake Funduzi. Not the current Nechiaba. That one is the same as Nechitongwe, Netengwe, Manage. This in the Wabaland. They don't belong there. But the real Nechiabas are Vanyai, who ruled there. They were ruling the area. And so they were the ones who were in charge of that sacred place, who would perform their rituals there, to the extent that when their people died, they would let them either in the grave for a certain period, but at the end, they would take them, burn the remains, and let them flow through the river, down the river, via the lake. That was their sacred place where they perform their rituals, where they believe they get their powers to rule from, and all this stuff. The Neshaba people.
Rakhadani, am I hearing you very well that Vangona, as a people, even during ancient times, we could cremate our dead?
No, I don't think so. It came about. That is a new development. It was not there. We buried our people. But I'm hearing the Bambetsi Famatipe in, what do you call this? Across the Limpopo, Malunguzi, they cremate. I'm hearing that today. But I don't think in the good old, if it was there, we didn't have this. It's a new practice, but I can't say how old it has been there or how long ago. But it is there now, even amongst our people. But it was not there originally because we didn't cremate people. But it happened, I don't know, out of what, I'm not sure. I haven't researched that one.
The naming of pointers in Venda, the naming of landscapes, the naming of rivers, the naming of living things, the naming of mountains, it all seemed to correlate na Rushaka Ravangona.
That's why Bonemswati would say in his book, this document, the final edited report on Zata Exhibition Museum. He says he wrote it together with Dr. Kessel and Duplessis. There were 3 doctors there who wrote the document. I think it's unpublished, but I have a copy of it. And it's quoted here. He says, now, come on. What am I addressing now? I don't want to miss your question. Can you come again with that question?
I was referring to the naming of almost everything in Venda.
Okay, got it.
We've got mountains. That majority of the mountains that I know of are named after Vangona. Like you would have Tsime, where I come from. I come from a village called Mauruma, present day in Mauruma, not the olden Mauruma. The mountain, the volcanic mountain in our land, it is Tsime. And you've got Tavazaruonde, you've got Tavayarubora. You see, all these names, they've got nothing to do with Basenzi, or Bandaramo, or Bahampepu, or Bahampapuri. There seems to be a choreographed event, of naming everything after these people.
Because Nemziwati, in his document, as I was referring to, he says, as for the Aboriginal inhabitants of Venda, they are the Vangona. They are the ones who named everything, grass, beds, grass, every stones, everything was named, trees and everything, by Vangona, using their language. Yes, the Vangona, we are the people who named everything, mountains, trees, beds, grass, literally everything that is a Chivenda name. It was named by Vangona. And obviously, because we named them, Netshime is a paramount chief. Because Mauruma falls under them. Kokwane, whatever, Chitoni and all those areas fall under Chime when they were still paramount chiefs. Then they gave the name of that mountain Chime because it belongs to them. Today, you know them as Wachiranda and other names. Those are the Netchimes. So they gave names that had to do with their dynasty or kingdom or chieftaincy, whatever fiefdom they had. Yeah, it had to go with them because they are the ones who named the places.
Today, we hear people talking and saying that how did that come to be?
Those are dialects. Those are dialects. When people are in a certain area, there will be some kind of any influence. And because you check people, my Western, so there's an influence of the other language there. So people sitting in a certain area, unachi ronga, unachi pani, unachi nia, people in Niani, they've got their own dialect here and there. People in Buronga, they think they're talking Chironga. So those are dialects. Every language has dialects. English, for example.
Rnaya Wales, Rnaya Island, Rnaya.
Yeah, those are dialects, but it's English. You've got in America. I was told by Kenny Matiba that in America, whether Mississippi, whatever way he comes to, where he spent a lot of time studying and working there, you don't have a petrol station. It's a gas station. You don't have a pharmacy. You have got, what do you call this? Drugstore. Yeah, but you've got dialects all over the show. Every language has its branches or dialects. Yeah, so the same. There's not so much.
So,
no, it's just a dialect.
Having said that, the original language we used to speak, was it originally called Chivenda?
No, not Chi. That's the work of the Joint Matriculation Board. Rine roba richamba ruvenda kana lungona ngoroba rivangona ado pfuma venda nga murahu dzina lono ba hone abo pfala no ba ruvenda mara ndi lungona zwino isiZulu isiPedi isiXhosa Chixhosa Chibhele. That Joint Matriculation Board, when they came in issuing certificates and other things, they used the authority to change from Luvenda. Even when I started schooling, it was called Luvenda, not Chivenda. They changed it to Chivenda. It's not Chivenda, it's Luvenda. Chivenda, as far as we are concerned, it's our tradition. Oambaranga Chivenda, wambara mingwenda nazo, ndi Chivenda. That's a Chivenda traditional attire. It's our tradition, not our language, Chivenda. But now today we think it's Chivenda. It's Luvenda in the real sense. But ndi Chingona kana Lungona. We started speaking Lungona. But over time, we called ourselves Bavenda, and these guys infiltrated us. Then that Lungona is no longer spoken, because if you say Lungona, somebody would say, but you say you're Muvenda, you're Musenze or Musingo, you're talking to Lungona. Are you Mungona? No. So they had to change it so that it can suit or sort of cover them. It doesn't expose them.
So that means that when they came down from the Congo, they didn't come with the language.
No. They learned it here.
What about the culture?
They learned it here. They were assimilated. You know what? Okay. Can't know what's this. Uchive aba batu bodaho masingo na bamini bote na bandaramo ndi bachenda ngamisi mitulu de wana panda kwamburimi. Where's the
You caught me.
Ndi bachenda ngamisi mitulu de wana panda. They were all men, not women. Bangatsi mevobonda.
Sitinga zoyan van Riebeek.
Yeah.
Sitinga zoyan van Riebeek. For dababan na pezi.
vanga si bve na vasadzi kubva DRC vachimbira over 200 years vakodzera ngeno pasi uri vakuchimbira vachidzura vanga chimbira for 400 for 3 months vakuchimbira kana a year vachimbira namufumakadzi vasadzi vangasisvike bo vasadzi vawana ndi vavangona ndi vachenda nga mituli ndi yasho
zviamba zvauri ava vathu vamasingo vasenzi valaodzi va ndaramo na vamwe ndi vana vasho
exactly
ndi vana va vangona
exactly
zvaḓa hani zvino uri vantshe vabebi vhudzuloni?
A number of factors were at play. I've indicated all earlier the whites when they were in power. They wanted to usurp land, amass the wealth, and advantage themselves or enrich themselves. You must put somebody who doesn't belong. He will dance to your tune only. Because, okay, preachers today, we appoint you. You are the chief of Mauruma or Saitsui Mayotte. As big an area. There's wealth there. We put you, you don't belong. It's not yours, but we promoted you. We used a piece of legislation that we passed in our own legislature with our own aims and intentions. You will only hear from us. You jive, dance to our tune. That's one reason or one factor. The second one, with the support of the Boers, which was they came and killed our people. Ne? When you are captured or conquered, you submit to them. They take your position, put whoever they want in power. 2, ne? Number 3, which I think will be the last for me now. You are Rwanda, you are sitting here. You are Kadzia Rwanda. Ne? I marry you. I'm Mdaramu or Msenzi. You are my wife. Then your brother, it's a chief at Rwanda. He passes on. You are the card who must determine the next chief. You got, with me, you've got 5 children or 3. One of them is a young boy. Or it's a boy, or it's a man now, depending. Then I tell him, but preach, do you think your brother's son must ascend the throne? Or we do something about him, we make him mad, or we give him poison or something, he dies.
Whatever possible.
And you got the power to appoint. Then you put your son there. It was used. Those misi. Mituli eyo yoshumiswa uriraburishanduchera bomakadzi varengisa buhosi awayaka vana vavo navandalamo navalauzi and everybody else. They took it like that. Those sisters were married by these guys. Then some of them took the positions unto themselves and appointed their kids because they would bewitch whoever was supposed to ascend the throne. And when you are afraid because you are dying, some are mad, then you say, okay, you take over, because if we say, no, you don't, you'll kill us through your chemistry, whatever. The next thing, in certain instances, that's what happened. But those Kadzis were married. They had a very serious hand in the disorder that has been done or made by these guys.
What was the thinking behind that analogy?
I'm not very sure, but where it comes from. Chivasa ukuhuta. Awana nirimsanda. Ugengu jashangu. We built the traditional huts, thatched with grass. And then to kill people inside. But it was done when you were asleep, not when you were awake. During the night or midnight.
It has to be a cowardice way.
They come when you are asleep. They burn you inside the houses. You're dead. There's those who escape. If they manage to, they will run away. So he burned our houses. But his houses, their houses, remained because they were fighting us in order to take our land, take our positions and our wealth. So that's what they did. They did that. And we ran out. Our ancestors were very peaceful people.
They were not people of warfare.
No. If they were fighters, These guys came from wherever they came. They accommodated them. They stayed with them. They gave them food. They gave them girls to marry. Had they known, they would not have done that and would not be in the mess. They were very big people acting in good faith. And they were not very much used to fighting. They were not warriors per se, except in some cases where some people defended themselves. Yes, we got cases where Wangona defended themselves, but very few. All in all, in the main, that was how things happened. Our people didn't fight. They would just submit and make do and go. The positions were gone. Land was gone. Now we're sitting as foreigners in our own land.
Now we're sitting as foreigners in our own land, as elders. What do you plan to do about that?
That's why I said we've got the Wangona National Cultural Movement. Majority of our people there have made land claims. Some of them are successful. Like Nemamira next to Chipisa Ventura that side and others. Nachurobi, Mpapri now, he went to appoint Womagiti at Amagiti last year or early this year. Mpapri himself, he appointed Womagiti there as a headman under him. Womagiti is our member in the movement. He was appointed by Mpapoli. They are saying, in fact, Mpapoli went to Onengoda, the former ESCOM boss in Vembe, if you know him.
Not sure of him.
He was in charge of ESCOM and he retired in June just now. Then he went to him and said, well, Onengoda, we had a meeting of all the chiefs in Vembe, the 28 chiefs. We are saying, whether we like it or not, we cannot rule over Wachidzwele. We can't stop Bangona. When is Wachidzwele coming to take his position as the king? We know we won't stop him. We know whatever we do will never forbid him to ascend to the throne. When are you guys coming? We are surrendering to you. They're waiting just for a word from government or something to say, this man is the chiefs are now, we are doing a work. We are moving from one area to another, installing our chiefs ourselves. We've been doing this for years and it's still going on. In May, we had Kambele, that side of Chikonel. We installed him on the Kambele back to his position. Yeah, we were there on the 10th of May. Yeah, so we are doing that. We are talking to government. We went to the parliament in 2017. Unfortunately, those guys were corrupt and they did not even answer. We handed them a memorandum there, or even a document. They said they'll come to us. They did not. So we have 2019. We met with the we demanded this. It was referred to the COGTA. COGTA did not answer us. That's why we want to go back. We want the president to get into this matter. So we are fighting, and a lot of Mangona in Venda. Those who are not even our members, they are really busy establishing themselves to take over what belongs to them. A lot, I can tell you. So the movement is so strong. Non-members, because they're not directly our members, but everybody can be, only that they must subscribe. But they are organizing themselves. They are fighting. I can tell you, let the government, whoever, declare a king amongst Potoni and Masindi, or queen if they like it. They won't rule over Bangona. They'll find it difficult. Venda will become ungovernable. Because people know these people don't belong here. These people have taken our positions, our land and everything. So we don't want them. So we are busy working on this day and night.
Under the presidency of somebody like Bomatamela Cyril Ramaphosa, you are saying that you've submitted a lot of letters and memorandums to them. Do you find him as a leader who is ready to listen to people who are, because I've seen him with chiefs from Venda, I've seen him moving around with people in his clique from Venda, and I suspect he belongs under the Masingo.
He does.
It's a Singo.
He's one of the Chivase people. He comes from Karaba.
So when I look at him, I look at when I just at face value, he seems like somebody who's non-interested in anything that has to do with the hierarchy of Venda. He does not seem to be interested. He just wanted to shift to where he feels is comfortable. However, he does not seem to be holistically interested in the cultural landscape and the history of Venda as a land and Bangona as an Aboriginal people.
Exactly. That's what I see with him.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't seem he will ever listen. That's why we want to stay there for as long as possible at the union buildings. He will answer to that, even if he leaves office when his time is up. Then we'll still be sitting there because this is his second term.
Mm-hmm.
Already running into almost 12 months now,
Mm-hmm.
or more than that already, because it was May last year. So he will leave here in 4 years' time. We will be there if our king. The good thing is, or we think because the GNU now is in charge, not the ANC.
Mm-hmm.
Our sitting there will speak. Because some members of the GNU will ask the president, what is happening there? Why are these people here? It will embarrass him. These people are coming from Venda and you are a Muvenda. What are you doing about it? But because it's a single
Mm-hmm.
and he's a politician, the worst case is not much of him being a single.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Thursday, I was with somebody there at Ralushai, whatever, hall, Arts and Culture Hall in Toyando Sports Center.
Mm-hmm.
I won't mention his name because he might hear this.
Mm-hmm.
This man is very influential politically. He's not a politician, but he has got a lot of influence and he's a member of the ruling party, the ANC. Let me be very clear. You know what he said? You know what Palero Khutla said about Chivenda?
Mm-hmm.
This man is a Mungona for information.
Mm-hmm.
Ofarisani the late is a Mungona.
Mm-hmm.
Through the Genuine Farisani Foundation, they issued a statement after that podcast of Lekgotla.
Mm-hmm.
They said, we distance from ourselves from the utterance of Lekgotla. We don't know where he got this information from.
Mm-hmm.
He told me, this man, last week, I even called Lekgotla. They are very close.
Mm-hmm.
No, did you see our media statement? Yes, but why did you guys now oppose me? He said, no, we are doing it for political expediency. We know what you're saying is correct, but as a Genuine Farisani Foundation, we don't want to be seen associating with what you said. We did it for political expediency.
Mm-hmm.
That's where compromise is a deadly disease. Ramaphosa is a politician. He's a member of the ANC. He's a leader.
Mm-hmm.
His party knows the purpose and is associated with them more than with Chivas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's why Nelson Mandela in 1980 went to the purpose.
Mm-hmm.
They thought they were the highest or the most senior traditionalists in Venda because of what apartheid did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So without even caring to know, they recognize them as the most senior, and which is not correct. Okay, that's why Ramaphosa would never stand up straight and say, okay, we know this is the truth and that is not. Politics as a dirty as a game as it is, he doesn't allow them to do that. He's connected to his party. Once he's seen to move away from them, purpose and the Chivases, who are some of them in parliament and the other thing, then I think they will be accused. He was betraying the struggle and wara.
Mm-hmm.
So they are doing that for political expedience, not because they don't know what is right.
And when I look at it, because this is an issue that can go on and on, because obviously he's a president, he's not a king, he's going to come to pass. His role as a president is going to come to an end. And then the next president will come again. Won't it mean that as Bangona, as a movement, as a cultural movement, you're going to keep going back to start from point zero all the time? You're going to be starting from scratch all the time whenever there's a new president?
As I told you, we are coming to pitch up tents there at the union buildings. We'll stay there. Whoever becomes president will find us there. However, we are using a number of avenues, as I said. Land claims. The Nepawa land claim is waiting for only the judgment. It has gone through the land claims court now they're only for over a number of years now. They're only waiting for the judgment. It's being delayed. but the process is on. Once that happens and they get their land back, we are going, the king will move to the farms, to one of the farms. That's where the palace will be. We can't do it where he stays now. No.
Where
Siloam.
is his residency right now?
At Siloam.
At Siloam.
She's in Isa there.
Oh, okay.
So he's there. So we can't do it there. Somebody's ruling there. We go to a new land where we'll build a house and stay there. That's where we're going to declare him our king. Yes. And from that moment, then that is the king in the kingdom, the king in the kingdom. Will never look back, will never listen to anybody, much as we haven't and never will. So that's what we are doing. If that process delays, it will come to a push. Those guys will tell their lawyers, tell the land claims court and whoever is in charge there, if you guys are delaying this thing, we are going to occupy our land and start working. They must be told, because this is political. Yeah. We want him to return to the land where nobody now claims ownership. Once the certificate is issued, this is your land, it's gazetted. Then that's where we declare the kingship and we go and pay homage. And every Mungwana, wherever they are, they will go there. I can assure you that one. So we're not going to sit and wait for them to agree or to decide to recognize. No. We are doing this as a part of struggle, but you must have a number of strategies. Yes. So that's one of the strategies. We're going to declare our king there. Yes, and full stop. Then what do we want from them? We don't want a salary, we want the kingdom.
To me, it sounds that like you want to reignite or re-establish the Mapungubwe Pathfinder.
Exactly.
How important is it for the whole SADC region, for people of the South, to reignite the Mapungubwe Pathfinder and the ways of doing things, the way our ancestors used to do in Mapungubwe?
No, because of this Republic of Zimbabwe, Botswana, Swaziland, Lesotho, South Africa, blah, blah, blah. These are independent republics. In our documents, ready to govern, we have that document, ready to govern. We indicate we must re-establish our ties with our brothers in Mozambique, in Lesotho, in Tanzania, in Uganda. Zambia, they are there, Bavenda. Now Bavenda, but you want to move from Abavenda. But just Zambia, annually. But in the annual events, in of the traditional leaders there, we re-establish the ties. Not to re-establish the Mapungubwe kingdom area of jurisdiction. It's impossible. But we must re-establish the ties with them. So much so that when we celebrate our Cultural Heritage Day, we can do it in Zimbabwe, we can do it in Botswana. The people, they can come to Mapungubwe, because this year, as I told you, in October, we're going to celebrate this. So we would invite them, as we used to invite the Mujajes. Before Matole Mutsecha interfered with our process, the Mujaji people would come to Mapungubwe every year to celebrate with us, because they're part of us. But Matole Mutsecha came with this thing and it disrupted everything. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We must network with our relatives or whatever, brothers and sisters, in the whole of SADC. We must network with them. We must visit them, meet with them where we can, celebrate with them whatever they are doing where they are. Then we cannot re-establish the kingdom. It's impossible, because of all the developments that we're talking about. So, but at least we must network with them, because we are one and the same people. That's where we'll influence our culture and other developments and other activities that we do traditionally, because we must go back to our roots. We know them. They will practice it in Botswana, in Zambia, whatever, Angola, and so. But we will be interacting. That's how far we want to go, because we can't just, okay, it was throughout SADC. So what do? We network with our brothers and sisters there, whether they are traditional leaders or not, but they must know they are part of the Mapungubwe kingdom. They were. So we network with them, we interact with them. We think that will be something, at least to show we're still connected, because we can't lose that connection because of this the boundaries and imposed what is called this republics and whatever. They are there. We can wish them away. We can't move them.
Mm.
We must respect them, but we must work with our brothers and sisters.
Mm-hmm. The discovery of Mapungubwe by the archaeologists led into the digging. And when they were digging, there was a lot of artifacts that was found buried underneath the soil. Present day, that the artifacts that were buried underneath the soil have a museum at the Pretoria University of Pretoria. That's where the Mapungubwe Museum is based. Are you fine with that as the Bangona cultural movement?
No. Yes and no. Yes, in the sense that we have pushed this through the Mapungubwe Descendants Forum for quite a number of years now. We wanted the artifacts to be returned to Mapungubwe. But SANParks tell us something that we cannot deny. Their security.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have security there.
Mm-hmm.
They may not last. If you know that the poachers are getting to the parks all over Kruger, Nechma, whatever, they shoot animals and take the meat away and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of poaching. Mapungubwe is even worse. People from Zimbabwe, you'll find their ox wagons or donkey carts there and whatever. A lot of cattle, Zimbabwean cattle in Mapungubwe. There's so many inside.
Mm-hmm.
So the control is very difficult. That museum can be destroyed or they can break into within no time. So for safety reasons, they are still held there. So we are not satisfied, not at all. In fact, we have proposed and we're still going to follow that up now that SANParks is recognizing us as the owners of Mapungubwe, starting this October, when they will be there and financing everything that we're going to do. Then we have already proposed a tour to go organized by SANParks and the National Heritage Council. They must organize a tour for us, give us a transport to go, maybe the leadership, not the whole people, because we're many, just the leadership, to go there and see these artifacts and everything. It's not only in Vets has got some, and I can't remember where else. Northern Flagship might have some. So we know, they've told us, because we are inquiring time after time. So they will take us there. According to one of them, the General Manager Cultural Heritage, I won't mention his name here, he said, we will organize you a tour. You go there innocent as you are, so that you talk of what you have seen. You go, they give you a tour guides will tell you everything. You're taking everything into heart, and perhaps you write down because you may record it. They don't know what you're coming there for. Then we take the information. And then when we start making these demands, there must be money. The lottery has got billions. We can ask government, give us money from the lottery, build a secure place for this artifact. They must go back there. We can do that. But we want to arrange that. We pushed that 2-3 years ago. Didn't go very well. Somebody blocked it, I believe. But now that we've got that goodwill from SANParks, the CEO, Rakhadani, she is very much in favor of the Bangona as the owners of Mapungubwe. She knows that. She's declared it already. That's why it is easy now to work. The CEO understands or accepts that we are the owners there. So with the goodwill from the CEO and their team, we believe this thing will become easy. We are going to follow them. We are going to demand that they come back. We are waiting for the tour. Once the tour is done, we know what's there, and we will demand what we have seen. And then we write to the authorities. Money is there. They can't tell us of a budget. They don't need a budget. The reburial in 2007 got money from the lottery. So even this building can be erected there.
Speaking of, we just spoke of artifacts. Of course, there's a lot of things that are not satisfying about what happens with the artifacts at Mapungubwe. And now you've just spoken of the reburial. How many bodies were dug from the ground? Maybe the ballpark figure, if you've got the number of...
Do I still remember how many?
It was 20-something.
Yeah.
Was it 20-something?
27? I can't remember.
Were they taking DNA tests? What were they doing when they dug off the remains?
I don't know. I didn't ask that one.
Mm-hmm.
When they doing the excavations, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That one, there were DNA tests done there. I think some of the reports say that.
So they found it corresponding with modern day Bangona. The remains, they themselves.
I think so. Only that they can't say that. But they'll be saying this is the kingdom of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, this concealment that they are doing. They're concealing the truth there.
What do you say to people like, colors who identify as Bushmen, who say that there's artifacts of the Khoi people in and around the park, and the remains of the burial is as per their tradition? The people who were buried at Mapungubwe are the Khois and the sons.
I've never heard that.
Mm-hmm.
During the preparatory period,
Mm-hmm.
Joyce Maputapasi as a member trying to distort everything. She brought them on board. They came for a few days and a few meetings. They withdrew because they say they don't belong there. Yes, they said the writings on the stones and whatever.
The drawings, yeah.
The
art.
drawings,
Yeah.
the art. But who told them our ancestors didn't do that?
Art is an African thing, generally
So
speaking.
these guys, they were brought in.
Mm-hmm.
They withdrew. So because they don't belong there.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think they will claim anything. If they want to, it must go back to when they stayed there and it's a long process if they want to claim. But fortunately, I don't think they do or they will because they know they don't belong. I haven't heard if they say that and I don't expect them to because the debate there is hot if you want to talk about Mapungubwe.
You have to have full knowledge.
Exactly.
Now let's talk about, we're still on the Mapungubwe area itself. From Mapungubwe, the ancestors abandoned it after the land was dry and the agriculture was not flowing as well. They went to places like Great Zimbabwe and built places like Great Zimbabwe. When you look at the stone architecture that is at Mapungubwe, that is at Great Zimbabwe,
And Turamel.
and Turamela, it seems to be very delicate. It was meticulously done. Our ancestors were people of architecture
Exactly.
since time immemorial. Our ancestors were people of art since time immemorial. They were people of textile. They were people who mined gold and other mineral resources. As the Bangona Cultural Council, when you're looking at the pathfinder of our ancestors, them being being people of architecture, people of pottery art, people of textile, what do you think influenced that lifestyle of Mapungubwe in modern day Venda or modern day Southern Africa?
What did influence what?
How do you think the architecture from ancient Mapungubwe, the art from ancient
I
Mapungubwe,
understand.
the textile from ancient Mapungubwe influenced modern day South Africa? Or our modern way of doing things?
If I get your question very well, if I didn't, you will come again.
It's okay.
So that I should not just speak
Yeah.
or talk. Obviously, you'll understand that Mapungubwe was an international trade center. Much as people came from China later on and India and other areas came for trade at Mapungubwe. Much as you still have the capital city of Mozambique today, known as Maputo. It was Maputoni because that was an exchange center before the introduction of money. People carried their luggage or baggage or sheets and went down there You come with maize, I come with this, we exchange. It was a center where the people exchange their loads or whatever baggages. And so it was called Maputo or Maputo. The name still exists today. So that trait, those skills and artistic whatever inventions, an architect of our ancestors still remains in the blood of their descendants. What changed mainly was the leadership traditional, replaced with politics or political leadership. They distorted a number of things. They took certain things for themselves and claimed that it is now their product or their skills. So as if it comes from Europe or America or wherever in Asia. But they took it from ourselves or from our ancestors. But fortunately, all was not lost. Whereas the descendants still practice some of the things they did. We might be doing differently now because of the developments over time and other factors, because culture influences another culture. But I believe some of the things we are doing now were done then by our ancestors. So it was transmitted over to us because over time, people, the generations that remained when the ancestors were passing on practiced that thing. I think if I'm trying to answer a question, okay, as the descendants, we still know some of the things that our ancestors did because we got it from our ancestors, our fathers, whatever, and mothers. Then we got it, we're still doing it, although it might be different because of a number of factors at play today. I don't know if I'm trying to answer what you asked.
Well, no, Maiwashe Ngwaluwimbi comes to mind when you're talking about that, because she's a fine artist
Yes.
and doctor. Now, not just Noria Maiwashe. Dr. Noria Maiwashe Ngwaluwimbi. She's a fine artist. She does pottery. She does sculpting. You know, you would think today, modern day, there's a lot of people who have drawn that influence, and spiritually, I think it keeps jumping from generation to generation. We find people who are still practicing those ancient things that were innovations of our ancestors in Mapungubwe.
Ngwalu what? You said Noria Ngwalu what?
Oh, but people know Ria Maiwashe Ngwaluwimbi, ndiba Luvimbi, mara Mari wa Maiwashe.
Might means the daughter or the child of.
Yeah.
So ni Mumbezi. Luvimbi is Mumbezi. Yeah, you know Jonas Savimbi. What I heard is it's a Mumbezi also, the late Jonas.
Hey, Jonas Savimbi, yes.
Of Angola. So the Mumbezi, that's why she still has the skills of her ancestors. She does.
She talks of it being given to her by her ancestors.
Exactly.
Most of the time when you listen to, she's got very inspiring knowledge of her understanding of her artistry as a potter and as a sculptor. She says that her ancestors are the one who gives her these visions of doing the work
And the
that she
wisdom
does.
to do it and the like. Yeah, that's why I say, yeah, it's still there.
So it translates throughout generations. It keeps jumping, and then obviously it will keep coming and coming and coming, because our ancient ancestors are the ones that are behind the innovation.
And we must keep it going.
Now let's talk about modern day. What is it that the Bangona Cultural Council, plans, or what are their plans when it comes to teaching children about our culture? There are many children who are Mudau, who are Mutabatsindi, who are Banyayi, who still don't know themselves. Other people say that, no, we are Bambedzi, we are not Bangona. They don't know the difference. What is it that you're doing modern day as the council and the movement for Bangona to make sure that children get to understand their culture and their origins and where they come from?
I said we are trying to move from one area to another because that we must sort of get that awareness. People must be made aware of themselves, their roots. If you just jump in, some people won't follow what you're saying. They'll just say, this one is a fanatic or something. So you need to do it in a very coordinated and careful way. Then also, I've just spoken about the Cultural Heritage Celebration Day at Mapungubwe every October, which is going to start this year or restart because it was there before. What we're doing there, we've got small kids. I've got some clips and some pictures here in my phone where they put on Marchedo and they perform. Every year they do that. Even at the Descendants Forum, the Heritage Day in September, they perform. They come with the rufo, cabo, and they explain what it was used to tobo. They come with these traditional things and explain what
which are innovations from Mapungubwe.
Exactly. So they explain what they do. They dressed in traditional mashedo, not mingwenda even. I have got the pictures if you have never seen them.
I will check them out and make sure that we put them out for the viewers.
I'll send them to you.
Yes, please do.
Okay, so some of them are the dancing domba there and all that. We are teaching them. So just now we're trying to register that Cultural Heritage Foundation, which in the next few weeks, I think the certificate will be out. We want to go about to the Department of Social Development, National Arts Council, and whatever, to ask for funds because the money is there. So that we make it more organized, get more kids into it, because finance is a problem. You can't transport them because they must come and practice or being taught at a certain point or place. For you to transport if they're from far, it's difficult. So we're trying to get money where the purpose is we're going to get as many young people into this as possible so that we take them back to what our ancestors did. They are very proud and they like it, if you know. They do. So funding was a challenge. But as we're doing it every year, and wherever we are re-establishing traditional leadership, like I said, of Canberra in May, they were there. They must perform there. They must be there and perform there. So we are teaching them to dance Chikona, so Canberra and this, they're practicing these things so that we don't lose our culture in the process. So we're doing it with them, training them, getting them involved to do it so that this thing does not die when we pass on. It must remain. It inspires them. I don't know, probably now that we have got the Limpopo writers and authors and whatever dealing with the Department of Arts and Culture and Education there, I personally would want to engage them, or rather through the Mangona National. Once we register this foundation, we must engage them. We must go to the MEC for Arts and Culture, whether it's Bioscope, Makam, whatever. We'll sit with them and show them these things. Where is the culture and arts in our schools? Why is it not there? Because it doesn't exist. Formerly, it was Department of Education, Sports, Arts and Culture in Limpopo. But they changed to separate and add more departments. But we want to engage them until our culture, also at school. Kids must be taught pottery, sculpting, these dances, text, right at school. Because at the end, some people make a living out of that. But you have to teach yourself, where is the education department? Sleeping. I suppose.
They're sleeping on ancient skills. Someone would think that the skills are from China.
A government by black people who know their culture and tradition, behaving as if they behave as if they've got a lot of budget, billions of rand are there, but they keep on going back to treasury every year because they're not utilized. But we've got kids in the school. So, let alone the issue of sports. Is there sports at school? Hardly. Why? Budget is there. People like, you have MS of Sports, Arts and Culture. Where is sports and culture? You can't talk of SAFA. That's not where sports is. Sports at school. It must start at school.
Yeah, it starts at school.
These kids the talent must be established at school level, primary school level, secondary school level. Yeah, then you can have a lot of these guys being skilled in sports, arts, crafts, and all these things. We want to engage them. We will definitely do so, so that we get them doing their job and reviving our culture. We can't be a nation without a culture, or rather, Banguvenda culture, Batsonga's culture, whatever. Each group or each whatever, call it, the grouping, must have their culture practiced in their schools. That's what we want to do. It's one way we want to do that. We've been wanting to do that, but somehow we could not do. We failed. But we want to engage them so that this culture does not die.
It is that ancient. But Rakhadani, what came to your mind when you wrote this book? Because when I look at it, I go like, hey, this man must have been smoking something here because he has gone very deep. He has gone very deep. What went through your mind when you wrote Udiba Makurundi Ubuzwa? And just because it's written in the Venda lingo, are we going to find this written in English so that all of our people, because they're our people, can have an understanding of this powerful ancient kingdom?
Yes, we wanted the people to know the truth. Before this book, there was not a single book talking about the history of Bavenda. None. Even until today, I don't know of one. I'm not afraid to call it the only Chivenda history book or the only book with the history of Bavenda. It's a people, it's a nation. This is the only one. Not controversial. All the groupings that form the nation are here. They agree this is their history. They are happy. They're buying this book to show that they are represented well here. Number one. So we wanted people to have this information. I also aimed to show that this land does not belong to, this compromise of the Freedom Charter. South Africa belongs
to all who live in it.
That is bad, wrong.
Basically, what it does is it wipes out the history of this land as a place of origins. That's what it does. South Africa, being a rainbow nation, destroys the origins and the original people.
And that is the purpose, I believe. So we wanted people to know Venda belongs to Bangona. It's the land of the Bangona. Some people, it's funny. Today even, you find somebody saying, hey, man, the person being a Mngona,
the totems are there to tell us that.
Himself or herself, the person asking, being one of them. You don't know yourself. It's a pity. It's painful, heartbreaking. So we wanted people to know who they are. And in a way, I think I wrote in the introduction, go back to reestablish their roots. Very important. Okay. Second part of your question. Yes. Motwemakulundobuta is in Chivenda. I've already translated it and added a lot more. This is about 278 pages. The new one that is already finished is in my laptop. Unfortunately, I don't have it here. Never thought I should bring something here. It's called the Mapungubwe Kingdom. It's a translation of this one. So far, it has 535 pages in English. Although I want to divide it into 2 volumes so that at least it's easy to read it. One volume will be referring to the next one. Then you go to the next one after this one. So, but it's there. And it's a translation of this one into English. Because I understand our people, as you said, some are Pedi, some are Tsongas, some are Bavenda who grew up here in Joburg or Gauteng. They can't even speak their language.
They don't know their totems.
They don't know themselves. The language itself, they can at least speak and understand it. So if they get this book and read it in a language which we can call common today, English, then it's easier for them to know. So that's why I've translated it and I'm only waiting for funds to get it printed because it's ready.
Rakhadani, funds are going to come through when people start to understand the importance of this kingdom and knowing that these people do exist. They are there. It's just not a kingdom in the sky. It's a real kingdom that had real people and real stories and real history that is being overlooked time and time again. The name Mapungubwe seems very interesting, but people don't want to know the people behind. And there are those who are curious to know the people behind the Mapungubwe kingdom. All I just want to say is that thank you very much for your time, and thank you very much for gracing the SAK podcast.
Thank you very much for keeping me in this marathon. But it was a wonderful time being with you here, sharing this information. It's a great thing. It also helps me, sharpens my mind again, keeps me recalling what I know. And because in life, I like challenges. And I thank you.
You're a well of wisdom. Thank you very much for being with us. Thank you very much for making time for us.
Thank you.